My girlfriend of 4 years left me because I wasn't stable enough. 2 years later, I built a company that replaced her new fiance's job. And now she's the one asking for a second chance. But here's the thing. I already found someone who believed in me when no one else did. Welcome to Infidelity Truths. Before we dive into today's gripping story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more thrilling stories just for you. Let's begin. I'm Elijah Brooks. 2 years ago, the love of my life walked out of my apartment and straight into the life her family had picked out for her. Her name was Camila Reyes, my girlfriend of 4 years, the woman I once believed I'd grow old with. She left me for Bryce Langston, Ivy League law student, heir to a corporate dynasty, the kind of man you meet once and instantly know his family's net worth without asking. His hairline was immaculate, his blazers cost more than my rent, and his smile had veneers polished to a presidential sheen. Camila's parents adored him. Her friends swooned over him. And me? I was just the guy trying to make something out of nothing, a dreamer, a builder, a phase, according to her aunt at the dinner table that one Christmas I'll never forget. But now, 2 years later, Camila's not glowing anymore. She's unraveling. Not because her life crumbled. It still looks perfect on Instagram. But because she finally saw me. Happy, thriving, in love, with someone who never asked me to prove my worth. Someone who saw it long before anyone else did. But let's rewind to where it all started. The night I stopped being her future and became a stepping stone. It was at her cousin's engagement party in the Hamptons. Everyone was dressed like a Ralph Lauren commercial. I wore the only blazer I owned, slightly frayed at the sleeves, and drove in from Brooklyn in my dusty Civic. The moment I walked in, I felt it. I didn't belong. Her uncle said, "Elijah, right? The one with the app or something?" I corrected him. "A platform for independent vendors to digitize contracts." He nodded like I'd said I was a magician at kid parties. Then came Bryce. Crisp white shirt, monogrammed cufflinks, talking mergers and acquisitions with her dad over aged scotch. Camila laughed at every joke he made. Those dry, soul-killing lawyer jokes that sounded like they were lifted from LinkedIn memes. She leaned in when he spoke about his summer internship at Langford and Maxwell. I had talked to her about my prototype, my sleepless nights, and my failed pitch meetings, and she had yawned. But now, she looked at Bryce like he was an open door to a golden future. Later that night, she came back to my place. She wrinkled her nose at the broken elevator like it was a personal offense, said the bathroom was too tight, and looked at my dog, Baxter, like he'd rolled in mud. She used to call him her little son. That night, she called him a nuisance. He jumped on the bed, and she pushed him off like he was in the way. A week later, she ended it. Still in her charcoal gray marketing suit, hair slick, makeup flawless. She sat at our old IKEA table, the one we built while drunk on cheap sangria, and said the words like she was reading a script. "I love you, Elijah, but I need stability." I remember asking softly, "You mean like Bryce?" Something in me just snapped. "All right," I said. She blinked, like she didn't expect me to let go so easily. "That's it? What do you want me to say? That you're breaking my heart? That you're making a mistake? Would that change your mind?" She didn't answer, because we both already knew. 2 days later, she hard-launched their relationship. Beachside photo, matching white outfits, his Rolex sparkling in the sun. Caption, "Found my forever." I won't lie, it crushed me. I couldn't even afford a Metro card at the time. A month later, my startup imploded. The demo failed. The angel investor pulled out. I missed rent, moved in with my best friend, Terrence Mason, a guy who always had my back. He gave me his shoebox guest room and half his closet space. Baxter slept at my feet like he understood. I worked Uber Eats during the day, stocked shelves overnight, slept maybe 3 hours a night. Camila and Bryce, they were flying to Santorini, drinking wine in Vienna, smiling with his family at charity galas. The lowest point? Delivering sushi to a sleek downtown bistro and seeing them through the window. Her in a silk dress, him laughing with his arm around her. She caught my eye for a second. There was something there. Regret maybe? Guilt? It vanished fast, replaced by a glossy plastic smile. That night, I stared at myself in Terrence's bathroom mirror, toothbrush in hand, and said out loud, "No more. No more sadness. No more chasing ghosts." From that moment on, I built in silence. 2 jobs by day, coding by night. I started from scratch, a new product, legal tech. Not sexy, not flashy, but useful. I knew the problems because I'd lived them. Terrence got me in front of the right people. We landed our first client 6 months later. By the end of year 1, we had 3 offices. My company, Clause AI, was changing the way law firms handled contracts. Year 2, we weren't just helping firms, we were replacing them. And guess which firm was one of the first to lose clients to us? Langford and Maxwell. He didn't even know I was behind it. But Camilla, she found out. I saw her again at a gala in Manhattan. I was being honored. She was there with him. She gasped when I stepped on stage. After the speech, I caught her near the bar. "Elijah, wow," she said. "You look different." "No," I said, "just successful." I smiled and walked away. But it didn't stop there. I started hearing from old friends. "Yo, Camilla's been asking about you. Is it true your company outbid Langston's on 3 contracts? Did you really replace their junior associates with your software?" Then an email from her personal Gmail. Simple. "Hi, Elijah. I saw your interview on CNBC. Congratulations. Would love to catch up sometime." I stared at it, not with pain, just curiosity. We met at a cafe, sleek place, one of those spaces with neon signs and artisan coffee. She walked in, still beautiful, still poised, but something was missing. Her eyes didn't shine the way they used to. "You look amazing," she said. "Thanks," I replied. "You too." I lied. We made small talk, then she dropped it. "I've been thinking about us, about what we had. I didn't know what I had back then." She blinked fast. "Bryce and I, we're taking space. He's not who I thought he was." I looked at her, calm. "Camilla, do you remember the day you left? I do too, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. You never asked me what I wanted. You were already gone before you sat down." She said nothing, just stared at her coffee. "While you were choosing certainty," I said, "I was learning resilience. While you picked comfort, I chose growth, and now I'm with someone who saw my value long before the world did." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't expect to lose you forever," she whispered. I stood, placed a 20 on the table. "I did," I said. "That's why I built something better." 6 months later, I was on stage in Lisbon, delivering the keynote at a global tech summit. My company now had 300 employees across 4 continents. Bryce's firm, they now license our software. 6 months after that cafe conversation with Camila, my world had grown louder. More interviews, more business partners, more decisions. But inside, it had never been quieter. Peace. That was the real luxury I had earned. I no longer needed to check over my shoulder. I no longer needed to prove I was enough. Because now, I knew. My company, Clause AI, just closed a major deal with a top international law network. The same network that once rejected my internship application 3 times in college. The irony? Their board reached out to me, not because I had begged for a seat at the table, but because I built my own table and made sure it had no space for people like them. But let me take you to the real moment this story ends. I was sitting at a rooftop restaurant in LA with Ava Sinclair, my partner, the woman who came into my life when all I had was ambition and faith. A graphic designer, sharp as a blade, with a laugh that could silence storms. She never needed me to be anything more than Elijah, the man who rescued a stray dog, obsessed over fonts, and still got nervous before presentations. We were eating dessert, tiramisu, and too much whipped cream, when she smiled and said, "You're quiet tonight." I looked around at the city lights, then back at her. "I got an email this morning," I said. She raised an eyebrow. "Work?" "Camilla," she reached out again. Ava didn't flinch. She sipped her wine and waited. She said she wanted to meet, said she had something to return. It was an old watch, the one I gave her on our second anniversary. Back then, I could barely afford it, but she said it made her feel like time stood still when we were together. I told Ava I wasn't going. "She doesn't have anything I need back," I said. "I already got it all." She tilted her head. "What's that?" "Closure." And Ava? She just nodded and held my hand. The kind of quiet support Camilla never gave me when things got hard. But I did go back to Brooklyn one last time, to the building where Camila and I used to live. The elevator still didn't work. The graffiti was still there. But I took Baxter for a walk through our old neighborhood. A few kids stopped me. "Yo, you're that tech guy, right? From YouTube?" I laughed and said yes. Before I left, I stood outside my old apartment and just stared. Not with bitterness, not with regret, but with gratitude. Because if Camilla hadn't left, I wouldn't have become the man I am. If she hadn't walked away, I wouldn't have discovered that the deepest love isn't the one that shines on Instagram. It's the one that stands by you in silence, in struggle, in sweat. It's the love that believes in your becoming, not just your being. That night, as the city lights flickered behind us, I kissed Ava's forehead and whispered, "Thank you for staying when no one else did." She smiled. "I didn't stay," she said. "I chose you." Over and over. And that's the truth. The girl who left taught me pain. But the woman who stayed, she taught me power, peace, and love. And to Camilla, if you ever read this, thank you for walking away. You didn't break me. You built me. If you felt this story, don't forget to like, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more stories just like this. And remember, sometimes, the one who walks away gives you the space to become unstoppable. See you in the next one.